Hey, Caesar.
I'm sorry, shit, I was eating my dinner. Take time to eat slowly.
Oh, that's good advice. That's good advice.
How are you today, brother?
I'm doing fine. I've had a busy week. We had field days last week, and I had another tour group in the last couple days. So I've been busy showing people around through our test plots.
I watched the video.
Good. Yeah. Did you like it?
I'm interested about Chai and Jimmy Red Corn to get eating them.
Yeah, that's the Jimmy Red corn looks like it could be really promising for a corn that we could eat. We had some, and my wife made cornbread out of it. She grinds it up and makes cornbread, and that was very tasty, very just naturally sweet. It has a naturally sweeter flavor than regular corn. And the chia, we can't really actually grow the chia for seed here. It's a protected variety. So we just plant it. It's a great plant for pollinators. Lots of pollinator insects like the chia.
Let me talk about it for my folks about this crop.
Sure.
Then just let you know, are you ready?
Yep, I'm ready anytime.
Group of dashes, original message from mail to send August 8th, 2021 to Keith Burns CC. Subject group of dashes, original message from mail to send August 8th, 2021 to Keith Burns CC. Subject question. Hey Keith, I am writing these questions for Wednesday evening. What did you decide to work with cover crop? What year? I read the article about you on New York Times about your work on cover crop. What did lead the way to work with farmers like you in New York Times? What are your opinion on the climate change and availability to use cover crops mixes combat against climate change? Do you have learned from someone else to use cover crops mixes? How meet up Dale Sticker and Mitchell Hara? Do you went out with idea about cover crop back from day 1980 to 200 seconds? Finally, tell me about your family farm in Nebraska. Can you talk now?
Yes, yes, I can talk now. You want me to just go answer those questions that you sent? Okay, sure. So yeah, Caesar, it's good to be able to join you on your podcast. I appreciate the questions that you sent out ahead of time. There are really some excellent questions. So I'll just kind of go through the questions and answer these for you, and then you can see what follow-up things you have. So we first decided to work with cover crops in 2008. I farm here in Nebraska with my brother, and we had decided that we'd heard enough about cover crops that we wanted to give them a try. So we put out a whole bunch of different plots, about 20 different plots of individual cover crops, and then also 3 or 4 different mixes. And we basically monitored the moisture use in each of those strips and saw how much moisture they were using in the strips versus the mixed area. And what we saw that year, we learned several things. We learned, number one, that the cover crop mixes use less moisture than any of the monoculture strips did. Number two, we learned that the cattle really did well on grazing those cover crops. And number three, we learned that it was difficult to find a lot of this cover crop seed. So that's when we decided that maybe we could sell this. And the next year we started green cover seed and have just kind of been growing ever since. We're here in Nebraska. We're in the south central part of Nebraska. So if you look at a map, Grand Island is kind of in the central part of the state. We're about an hour straight south of Grand Island. And my brother and I have grown up on the farm here. He came back to farm right out of college. I taught school for 10 years, and then I came back to the farm 10 years later, and have been here ever since. Yeah, the article in the New York Times about our work on cover crops. You know, we've been in a number of different articles, several different movies, films, different things, and that's all cool. You know, to get that recognition, to get that type of exposure for the soil health movement. I think the New York Times thing was that lady came to one of our conferences. The conference, one of the conferences we had down in Texas, and she got to know us there through the conference that we put on, and then she followed up with additional questions about cover crops, and so she interviewed us. But we were putting on conferences, soil health conferences in Oklahoma and Texas, and she came to one of those and got to know us that way. So that's how we got featured in the New York Times. You know, as far as movies, so yeah, it's not actual real movies. I guess it'd be more of the, you know, soil health films. So there was one called The Living Soil. I think it's been viewed more than 3 million times on YouTube. It was put out by the Soil Health Institute. It's about an hour long. We're featured in that one, and anybody can go watch it for free. It's at The Living Soil. I think it's thelivingsoilfilm.com. And it's just a really good documentary on soil health across the United States. They feature a lot of different people. And then there's one that's going to be coming out here very soon. We actually have seen a preview of it. It's called To Which We Belong, and it's really well done. It's about an hour and a half. Again, it's a documentary on soil health and regenerative agriculture. And they don't only feature United States farmers like ourselves and a number of other folks in the United States, but they feature farmers from all across the world. and even some guys that are farming kelp in the ocean, which I found very interesting and fascinating. So that's not available for people to watch yet. They're working on trying to get that on some sort of a platform where people can watch it online. So if I hear that they got that available, I'll let you know. As far as the question on climate change and availability to use cover crop mixes to combat climate change, I don't know that I'm smart enough to know, if the climate is changing, and if so, what's causing that or changing that. I think it's a very, very complex issue, and there's really no simple answers. I will say, however, that I don't know that there's very many people that will argue the fact that the climate is becoming more variable, and we will have when we get precipitation events, whether it's rains or snows, it typically seems like they're more intense, but they're less frequent. So, instead of getting a nice slow inch of rain, a couple times, 3 times a month or whatever, we might get 3 or 4 inches, and it comes all at once, and it comes pretty hard, and then you might not get anything for 3 or 4 weeks. And that's more climate variability. And what causes that, I don't know, don't pretend to know. But the solution to it is certainly going to be soil health, because not only do we need to have better infiltration rates in our soil so those heavy precipitation events can get into the soil, but we have to be able to hold that moisture when it comes, because the soil now needs to hold the moisture so that as that crop is growing through a dry period of time, it can utilize that moisture that it captured. So how can cover crop mixes help with that? Just cover crop mixes are, cover crop mixes are helping with just improving overall soil health. They're keeping the ground covered. The living roots in the soil are building the soil aggregation, again, for better infiltration, as well as better soil water holding capacity. So I think the cover crops are just making the soil more resilient. It's making it better able to infiltrate water and then store it for periods of dry use. You ask if we've learned from someone else how to use cover crop mixes. Absolutely, we learn from people every day. Most of what we learn from is our customers. Our customers are great teachers. Many of them are very fearless about trying new things, and so they'll call us up and they'll say, "What do you think about trying this?" And a lot of times we'll say, "Well, I don't know. I've never tried that, but it sounds interesting." So they'll try it, and then they share what they learned, and it's very interesting to learn from them. Probably the first guy, though, that we really learned about this concept from was actually a man from Brazil. His name was Ademir Caligari, and he's the one that came over to Kansas in 2006 at the No-Till on the Plains conference. And he was showing how they're using the multi-species cover crops in Brazil and having fantastic results with it. And that's what inspired Gabe Brown and Jay Fuhrer to try some of their experiments up in North Dakota. And when we saw that, then we thought, we need to try this in Nebraska. And we tried ours then too. So, Ademir was a good influence. Jay Fuhrer and Gabe Brown from up in North Dakota as well. And like I say, just lots and lots of our customers that are learning things and sharing that information back with us. You asked how I met up with Dale Strickler at Mitchell Mora. Dale is, I've known Dale for many years. He actually worked for a competing company, another cover crop company here in Kansas. And so we would see each other at a lot of conferences. We would be on the same speaking circuit. A lot of times I'd be speaking for Green Cover Seed. He'd be speaking for this other company. And I'd listen to him and I thought, yeah, that guy's a pretty good speaker. That guy knows a lot. And so it just so happened that a number of years later, we had the opportunity to hire him to be on our staff. And so now We feel like we have two of the top soil health cover crop teachers between myself and Dale, at least here in our area. So that's been a blessing to have Dale on staff. Mitchell, I probably followed Mitchell on social media and saw a lot of what he was doing for quite a number of years before I actually met him. I believe I met him a couple years ago, actually, I think it was the Farm Credit event we were both at, and so I was able to listen to him speak there and visit with him. I have not been up to his place yet. That's one of my goals, is to get up to one of his field days, because I have a lot of respect for what he's doing with the Continuum Ag and a lot of the regenerative principles that he's not only practicing, but also helping others do it as well. Do I have an idea about cover crops? Back in the 80s? No, we really hadn't thought much about it until, again, Ademir Caligari came over from Brazil, started showing pictures of what they were doing over there with these things. That's really kind of what got us started thinking about it back in 2006. And it's just kind of grown from there. And really what has made it work is seeing the cover crops work out in the field. That's really what drives it, is just seeing them work, seeing them build soil, seeing them change the ecosystem, seeing the beneficial insects they draw in. So just seeing is believing when it comes to many things, and certainly cover crops are no exception to that. And then, finally, tell me about your family farm in Nebraska. I farm here with my brother. We farm a couple thousand acres here in South Central Nebraska. We're probably about 2/3 irrigated and 1/3 dry land. And we've worked pretty hard to develop that irrigation. We used to be far less than half irrigated. So we've developed the irrigation projects, and now we can really grow some good crops between the soil health and having the water under the irrigation. We're still growing a lot of corn and beans, but we will sometimes grow some of the other stuff like soybeans and buckwheat and these other things that we can sell as cover crops as well. The seed business itself, Green Cover, we have about 50 employees now. We've really grown from when we started and didn't have any employees. We've got about 50 employees now across 3 locations. We have this location here in Nebraska. We have a location in Iola, Kansas, which is in the southeastern part of the state. Then we also have a location in Mountain View, Oklahoma, which is out in the western part of Oklahoma. Plus, we work with other sales partners in different parts of the country that help us move seed out in their particular areas as well. So, I have a large family. My wife and I have 7 children, ranging from about 31 years old all the way down to 10 years old. So that's really fun to have all of that diversity. Again, we've got 10 grandkids, which are a lot of fun, and a big blessing there as well. So really a lot of fun to be able to raise the kids here on the farm and here in Nebraska.
I admire you and Dale. Mitch, I respect your work.
Yeah, absolutely. I respect their work as well. And we admire you too, Caesar, for your there's very few people that I've met that could equal the passion that you have for soil health and for wanting to help people learn about regenerative agriculture and the principles of soil health. So hats off to you as well for the good work that you're doing.
Thanks. I will be next, the godfather of all ag like Mitchell.
Godfather of Ag. That's a great title. I like that. You and Mitchell, I can see that.
How are things with weather in central Nebraska?
Hot. Been very hot here and pretty humid. We have been blessed to catch several rains over the last 6 weeks or so. So our crops actually look quite good. You don't have to go very far away, and there's some really dry areas. There's areas. I was at one of our customers' places that's only about an hour away. They had a big storm a month ago, and they have they had 6 pivots that got blown over or damaged pretty bad, and then also about 6 grain bins. So they're kind of trying to rebuild from that. So fortunately, we didn't have that nasty 80-mile-an-hour winds, but yeah, I think things look good here. If we can, just get maybe one more rain here in another week or so, it'll really help, fill out the soybeans, and we should have some really nice crops. Yeah, I heard that you had some tornadoes up there in your area today, Caesar. That's kind of scary. It's something that nobody ever wants to see, that's for sure. It can cause a lot of damage in a hurry.
My corn crop, it's blow over.
Yeah, that's not good. That high wind with that tall corn can be a bad combination. So hopefully some of it will stand back up. I'm not sure if it will or not, but hopefully it'll kind of stand back up.
I went to Yellowstone. I love it.
I saw some of the pictures. That looked like a great trip. I really wish that I could get there. That's a place I've never been, but someday I'd really like to go to Yellowstone as well.
I saw a lot of corn on the rough country in Wyoming and South Dakota.
Yeah, I imagine that didn't look very good. I think that South Dakota and Wyoming have been very dry, so they sure need some rain out that way. That's for sure.
Yeah, I am ready for this harvest. I will planting winter wheat only.
Yeah, harvest will be here before we know it. Yeah, winter wheat's not a bad way to go. That's a good crop.
I have a lot of radish with a ball.
Yeah, we have a lot of radish seed as well. Hopefully you can get some planted with your wheat. Radish can be a nice little companion crop with winter wheat.
But it's painful to get rid.
It can be difficult sometimes. Our radish is always a winter kill here, so we never have to worry about getting rid of radishes. We just when it drops below 20 degrees for a few days, they typically tend to start dying out.
Yeah, we could meet up on November with Rick Clark and Mitchell after the harvest season.
That would be fun. I have a lot of respect for both Rick and Mitchell, so that'd be a lot of fun. And if we can't meet in person, maybe we can meet on a Zoom call or something like this too.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, it's good to visit with you, Caesar. Thank you for your time, and hopefully your corn stands back up after the bad weather, and harvest goes well for you guys. Thank you, Caesar.
Thanks.